This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, you're gonna make me push I got it, Wolf.
So sorry, Dave. Unfortunately, that's not a setting I can control.
Warmed up down there, Paige?
Yeah, I've got a happy girl here. It's going to be 84 and sunny on the beach. But
All
but I have even better happy news because I have 3 grandkids that have their second day in a row of snow days.
Yeah.
I can't tell who's happier.
My grandson had a rain day in Fishers and then 2 snow days.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll give it another couple of minutes. Hey, I don't see
You
Dave
should probably
Matthews
do an
yet.
announcement about the polar bear.
Yeah.
Dave is up in Michigan. I'll do the pledge.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Anybody know a good joke?
Too early.
Okay. Morning, Jim. How are you?
Good, Wolf. How are you?
Good. Are you playing
Jim,
tomorrow?
what's your tea time today, Jim?
Yeah, right. No, I just had knee surgery, so I'm
Ooh.
not mobile.
Oh, no.
I
We
mean,
may
I'm
well
mobile.
be walking tomorrow.
Yes, they will. I remember once we played in 14 inches of snow, though,
Yeah.
over at
Wow.
Shamrock. Were you there?
I was
Yep.
there.
I was there.
I was
Even
there.
behind the snowplows.
I remember all those guys bringing their full golf club bags and 14 clubs, swinging their drivers to warm up.
I think that's where Pete fell through the pond, too. 3 of us walked across, no problem, and then Pete brings up the rear and goes right through the ice.
Go figure. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, Wolf, I think we're ready to get started.
All right, let me mute everybody and we'll run. If you can unmute yourself, Mike.
And live. Okay, welcome everyone on this cold, snowy February morning, but it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful morning for polar bear tomorrow morning. To kick us off, Lyle Brown is going to lead us in our invocation. Lyle.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, no matter what may befall us, let us never lose our zest for life or our appreciation of this beautiful world that you have created and made available to us. Keep ever before our eyes the glory of being alive, the wondrous freshness of each new day, and the magnificence of the creatures around us as they sing your praises by their very being. Do not let us focus on our own troubles and remain blind to life's wonders. Teach us how to take time each day to thank you for all your gifts to us. Amen.
And Dave Williamson, please lead us in the pledge.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thanks, gentlemen. We are going to go to some announcements. Let me first just give a quick recap. We had a board meeting on Wednesday. Once again, they're the first Wednesday of every month. If any of you are interested in ever joining a board meeting, just let me know. We'd love to have you join. Couple of things that happened. One is that for anybody that was not in the meeting last week, you may have missed that Maury Patel has accepted a job in Charlotte, and she and the family are going to be moving there in the next couple of months. So she is going to need to step down from being our communications chair, and was very, very happy that Roberta Kane has offered and has stepped up and has joined us as our communications chair, and will be joining the board and transitioning responsibility for that committee with Maury over the next month or so. So thank you and congratulations, Roberta. The other thing that was really exciting is CAP brought forward, and Todd Hoadley certainly participated as well in bringing a grant request forward from Tolls. And as a club board and then as a foundation board, we have approved a $5,000 grant to provide scholarships to students from Dublin with financial need that need help with the dues that have to be paid to Tolls for certain programs. And there's a wide range of dues that need to be paid based on the program. And the city of Dublin schools can't cover those. So we're really excited to be able to do that. So there's going to be our ability to serve, quite a good number of Dublin students in need to be able to go and participate in those programs at Tolls, which was very exciting. And then we had Steve Heiser, who's a past district governor, came and spoke to us about generating interest in a satellite club, where our club would actually sponsor and support a different type of satellite club. And I'm going to turn it over to Wolf and let Wolf speak about that for a couple minutes.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, the concept behind a satellite club is basically a way to attract newer, younger members to the Rotary experience. They're not always, as interested in a traditional meeting as more experienced Rotarians are. They don't always care about a speaker. They don't always want to meet in a breakfast or lunch environment. So a satellite club is kind of a way to attract younger members who maybe are transitioning out of Interact and Rotaract into a Rotary experience, and letting them design their own meeting. It's typically an evening meeting, so it doesn't interfere with the workday. It's generally a lower cost way to participate in Rotary, and let them design their own service projects. There's still a lot of interaction between the satellite club and the main club. And I think we're forming a committee to explore the options of doing that. And I think Roberta is heading that committee. And she'll report back to the board. So if anybody has any interest in, number one, trying to find younger Rotarian candidates that might be interested in the satellite club experience. I know Dublin Worthington is also doing the same. So if we don't have enough members to do our own club, maybe we can help them with their club. But anyhow, that's coming along, and you'll hear more about it soon.
Wolf, I believe that Lori Reinbold's heading that up. So
Yeah.
if anybody has any information or questions, they should contact Lori.
Okay, my mistake.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. And just for the polar bear folks, I'm going to save all of all of your announcements for last. So don't worry. I'm coming to you. Susan Robinoff, I think, sent out an email that we have a Wine Not Wednesday social gathering this coming Wednesday, a kitchen social. Susan, what time is that? Is that at 5:30?
5:30.
5:30. And with the virus
Susan?
numbers continuing to come down, I think we can all look forward to getting a little more social again.
Mike, quick
Yep.
question. Is Susan's Wine Down Wednesday, is that our satellite club?
Oh, we could do that. Sure.
We should.
We could test it out Wednesday. We'll just put you on a Zoom call.
That's right. And then Susan, I'm going to stay with you because you have a Paul Harris Award or two to announce?
Actually, I was gonna do all of them that we got because
Excellent.
we got a lot. It's really exciting. So first of all, Caitlin Gushu got her first Paul Harris, so congratulations to Caitlin. And Peter Jordanson got his, and I presented his at the board meeting because I knew I probably wouldn't see him Friday today. And then James Warburton has 3 Paul Harris awards, so I've got a new pin for him. Bob Rosenberg has 3 as well. I have a new pin for him. Tom McLaughlin, I have another 3 for him. Steve Gunder has a total of 4. Wolf has a total of 7. Congratulations, Wolf. I have a new pen with yours. And then mine, I got a new one. I'm going to show it to you. It is Paul Harris, and that's 8. So it's really great to support our club this way. And if anybody wants to join and be part of a 4x4, please let me know.
Thank you, Susan. Congratulations to all of you. Are there any other announcements before we go to Polar Bear?
Yes.
I wanted,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we have a
Yes.
Lego League regional competition coming up next Saturday. And in the past, we've had judges to help with that. The kids present their project, which is part of the program along with the robotics. And this year the theme is logistics. So the judging would be from 7:30 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. It will be virtual like we did last year. So far, Wolf and Lou and I are going to do it, but if anyone else is interested, send me a message in the chat room, okay?
Thank you, Steve. And Jill.
Yes, so the Peace Committee has a couple of announcements. I'll start with the Peace Candle. I don't know if you guys saw Claudia put the Peace Candle up on Facebook last night, and I did not copy it in color because my printer doesn't like to do color. But these are really great candles, and 50% of the proceeds go to help fund the Rotary Peace projects. You can order them through the end of February. The link is up on Facebook. They're really nice. They're 100% all natural soy. They're hand poured in Columbus, Ohio. Also, the little topper on the candle is a seed packet, so you can grow flowers with it too. So they are $24. And as I said, they go to help fund peace. 50% go to help fund peace projects. So if you guys would order those, that'd be great.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. I think Steph Morrow was gonna.
I was going to say I have another quick peace update. On Saturday, February the 12th is the Peace Symposium. And if it's a Saturday that looks like what tomorrow might be, it is all virtual for everyone. So if you're sitting around on a Saturday, the 12th, and you're interested, I sent the information to Claudia and she will be able to also post that on Facebook. It is from 11 to 1. And it really focuses on building peace in our neighborhoods. So a lot of the work that Jill and I are learning about and others on our committee. I know Ron is already registered to attend the symposium. They are going to, it'll be international. So there will be other folks involved and not just within our district. So if anyone is interested, we encourage folks to sign up and click in and check in. They're going to have some small breakouts, but it's about a 2-hour commitment on a Saturday. Ron, any other questions? I know we've talked a little bit too about the peace polls.
No, we've got some investigation to do to try to figure out what we want and where they're gonna go. And so we're gonna do that.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
Claudia
guys.
put the link in the chat for the Peace Candle. So if you don't do Facebook, the link is there in the chat. And we can probably try and send that out to everyone too. Thanks.
Okay, great. And Wolf, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, one more quick announcement from the district. You should find out today, I think, but the district is starting a matching program in February. They've done this the last few years. So if you make any contributions to the Rotary Foundation, the district will match whatever dollar amount you put in with an additional number of points. So if you're trying to get to a Paul Harris Fellow or something like that, during the month of February, it's a way you can do that for half price. So I would encourage everybody to take advantage of that. I do have some information on it. It should be coming out in the Rotary newsletter, I think, today.
Okay, thanks, Wolf. I better get to the Polar Bear Committee or I'm going to get in trouble. So who wants to kick off the Polar Bear final details? Ingrid or Pete?
Yeah, I'll just start real quick with thanking Bob again for doing all the collection that he's done and ask him to give us some brief comments about what you'll see tomorrow. And then Pete will take over all the logistics and arrangements and what he wants everyone to do on tomorrow morning. So Bob Rosenberg, if you'd go next. You need to unmute, yeah. Bob, unmute yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to give you a brief recap of where we're stand, we have right now, as of this morning, we have a total of 76 raffle items. Considering the focus is on golf, we concentrate on getting golf packages. We have at least 3, including 4 plus golfers plus carts at TCC MV, which is the club that we meet at, Muirfield Country Club, and the Great Course at OSU. We also have gift cards from the PGA Superstore, 200 $100 gift cards, and 2 $40 golf lessons. We also have a new assessment for golfer for one at the golf room in Dublin Village. Make up my notes here. Okay. For those who like to eat, we have a total of 25 places that you can go to, from fine dining to pizza and ice cream, starting off with Refectory at a $75 gift card, Moretti's, a $75 gift card. We have Urban Meyer's Pine House. We've got Katzinger's Deli, and everything in between, all the way down to ice cream. So there's something for everybody. For those who like to shop, we've got Big Sandy Superstore, Sam's Club, Costco, Meijer's, Home Depot, Lowe's, and there's a few more, but those time restraints, I can't get into it. For the ladies, we have 3 gift cards from the Woodhouse Day Spa. We have 2 50-minute body massages worth $129 each. And we have a hydro smooth facial, whatever that is, worth $155. We didn't forget about the kids. We've got gift cards for Rock and Jump, Manio's Grand Slam for kids who like to play baseball, and the Ninja City. So that's it. Please come. There's a lot more that I didn't mention. It's worthwhile coming. Thank you.
Amazing, Bob. Thank you. All right, let's
You're
go
welcome.
to Pete.
Good morning. We have 98 golfers registered. This thing is a go. I'm not sure. We may be walking instead of using carts like we did in 2012. I won't know that till tomorrow morning. If the snow stops at 9 o'clock this morning like it's supposed to, then and they lift the level 3 that we have here in Delaware County, then they can start clearing the paths. But if they don't, then they won't get the paths cleared, and we'll have to walk tomorrow. So be prepared to bring just a few clubs. I do have lots of racquetballs for everybody. And we have lunch will be served by Bonnie and City Barbecue, and also Osh will be serving chili from Sunny Street Cafe. So this thing is a go, just like we did, 2 years ago, and should be back to normal.
It's phenomenal. You guys have all done an amazing job, and it's going to be an absolute blast out there in the snow. Okay, thanks everyone. Susan Robinaugh is our sergeant, and Susan, as you come on, I want to let you know, in case you didn't notice, we have a couple of guests. We have prospective member Samantha that has joined, and Ingrid's mother appears to be with us. So maybe you could have them introduce themselves.
Yes, Samantha, unmute yourself so we can meet you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. I'm Samantha Colby. I am originally from Cincinnati. I lived in Columbus about a decade ago for a few years, and then I actually moved to Milwaukee for my career for a couple of years, and I just ended up back in Columbus about a year and a half ago. So I live off of Glick Road on Davington. My husband and I have a daughter who will be 1 next month, and I work at Northwestern Mutual. I'm a principal consultant, so I've got a few offices around the central region that I'm responsible for their performance. So I'm excited to be back in Columbus. I'm really passionate about volunteering, and I've been looking for opportunities to do that here the last year or so. And I was involved in Rotary and Rotaract back when I lived in Columbus previously. A couple of members invited me to the downtown Rotary, and I participate in a lot of volunteer opportunities. So thought this might be a good way coming back to Columbus to get to know some great people in the Dublin community and get involved again. So thanks for having me.
We really look forward to meeting you in person. And Ingrid, would you like to introduce your mother?
Sure, thank you. It's a privilege. Mom came down to help with a couple medical procedures that Bob was having this week, and it's her birthday. So we're having her birthday weekend during level 2 and level 3. And Mom, welcome. Thanks for coming to the Rotary meeting.
Thank you very much. This is
Welcome,
quite a
Mom.
New experience here for me, so thank you very much.
All right, back to you, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Susan. I am very happy to turn it over to Claudia to introduce our speaker.
Good morning, everybody. If you have not met Chief before, you sadly are not going to be able to meet him today either, but I know he will come back again because he's got a big personality and a big heart and a great story to tell. He's our Chief of Police, Justin Pez, and he is focused on leadership, direction, guidance, and management of the police agency. The Chief directs and manages all functions, operations, programs, services, activities, and resources of the department through partnership with the Bureau commanders. The Chief also ensures that laws and ordinances are enforced ethically and impartially. He began his law enforcement career in 2001 and has been a member of our Dublin Police Department since November of 2003. During his career, Chief Pez has served as a patrol officer, patrol corporal, accreditation sergeant, community impact unit sergeant, lieutenant, operations bureau commander, service bureau commander, and deputy chief of police. He is our 7th chief of police, and I think could be maybe the best, my personal opinion only. He earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Bowling Green State University, and in 2022 completed the Northwestern University Leading Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion online program focused on managing and leading transformative change. In 2021, he earned his Master's of Business Administration and Leadership and Change from Tiffin University. He and his wife, Abby, have 5 children and are proud members of the Dublin community. I also want to add, he was the first to jump in and say, yes, put a peace pole at the police department. And we are in touch with his group to ensure that we get that done there properly. So, Chief, take it away.
Thank you, Claudia. That's far too kind an introduction. I greatly appreciate it. I am terribly sorry that we're not able to get together in person today. I was certainly hopeful to get to see everyone again in person, and I have no doubt that in the future we'll have the opportunity to do so. Would certainly love to come back to a meeting at any time and get to see everybody as we navigate forward. So, but certainly want to make sure everyone is safe this morning, and it's wonderful that we're able to get together at all and have this conversation. So, as Claudia said, for those of you I haven't met, my name is Justin Peiss. I've been here with the Dublin Police Department since 2003. I've been the chief of police since 2019. And so I'm so grateful. All of the things that Claudia mentioned are all the responsibilities that I have as part of my job here. But what I am most grateful for is to be part of this community and to serve this community. I love living here. My wife and I have been so blessed to live here and raise our children here. And so we are so grateful for everything we have here in Dublin and just the wonderful opportunity that both of us have to give back to this community. And so thank you for letting me come here today and share some information about what I do and answer any questions I have, and then how we're doing as a police department in protecting and serving this community. So if we can go to the next slide. Sorry, I'll wait till we move forward here. I always want to begin and mention just the foundation from which we approach our service and protection of the community. And so our mission statement in brief, you'll see at the top there, really is protection, service, and public safety in partnership with the community. We are so very blessed to have a community that is willing to engage with us, to share with us, and to help us identify those pieces of concern, those projections of safety concerns that help us understand how we use our resources here at the police department effectively and efficiently to make sure that we are making Dublin as safe as we possibly can and addressing any issues before they become problems that the community experiences as a whole. And part of what we do as a focus is identifying those goals that help us, again, keep our resources directed at the things that have the most impact in providing a safe community. And so those goals for us moving into 2022 are the same as they have been for the last several years, but there's a focus on critical incident response and preparedness. And that is an acknowledgement that we are very fortunate to work in a community that does not have those high profile or sort of world shifting events that, those moments where everything falls apart. And we are called as a public safety entity, along with others, to bring things back together and to bring things back to some semblance of order after there is chaos. But focusing and preparing to respond to those critical incidents is a high priority for us, so that we are able to respond as if each of those incidents are imminent. So we are prepared as each individual members and as a team, and then working with other public safety partners, including Washington Township Fire and other safety agencies in the area, to make sure we can respond and resolve those incidents. From a community perspective, as we talk about crime, our focus continues to be on theft, offense reduction, prevention, and deterrence throughout the city. There are some specific goals that we track as metrics for us, identifying how are we doing in making sure that we are reducing the incidence of crime across the city, and are focusing our efforts to make sure from a preventative perspective, we are paying attention to those reports that we see most often. And we'll talk about a few updates as we go through the presentation today. And then overall traffic safety improvement. Today is a great example of us working in partnership with other services throughout the community, whether that is streets and all those wonderful members of our city staff who are out 24 hours over the last couple of days out there plowing the roadways and making sure that we're salting the roadways so we can travel to, from, and through the community safely. Transportation and mobility and engineering, all of those partners to make sure that Dublin is a safe environment, again, for us to travel to, from, and through on all of the roadways that we have in our community. And then the last goal, effectively addressing issues of significant community concern. As I said, our mission statement, protection, service, and public safety in partnership with the community. That fourth goal is really a focus and emphasis on that partnership, identifying those issues of concern in the community, having ongoing and open dialogue with community members to make sure we understand the perspectives that each community member has from their neighborhood, from their place of business, when they travel and leisure, when they go to and from the community on our roadways. We are identifying those issues of concern and making sure that we are meeting expectations of the public in our service to the community. So those are our goals, and just wanted to talk through that as, again, the foundation for which we approach our protection and service of the community. So if we can move forward to the next slide, I'd like to share just some updates on some of our efforts over the last year and where we sit presently. So this message is something that you've seen regularly, and we can really never say it too much. And it is the focus on our address of crimes that occur in the community and our opportunity to work in partnership to reduce the likelihood that somebody would be a target of an offense, and also the opportunity that somebody who is traveling to our community or in our community with less than honorable intent might have to take property and have somebody be the victim of crime. So our focus on, again, theft reduction, prevention, and deterrence is a partnership in reminding our community members and anyone traveling to our community that if we can hide the valuables in your vehicle, making sure you lock your vehicle when you're away from it, taking the property with you if at all possible. And then the focus really the last couple of years is we have tried to emphasize that the vehicles that we see stolen is sometimes reported in our community. Largely, those are vehicles that in the past have been vehicles where the keys were left with the car. And with cars now with a fob, it's so easy to, if you put it in a cup holder or if you have it in a bag or in a purse, to sometimes forget that. And then it just takes the push of a button now to take off with a car. So, and I know I've been guilty as well, sometimes getting in the house and then realizing I don't remember where I left my key and it was out in the car. So, fortunately, I've been able to go back and get it. So we understand that that is just a product of sometimes just the coming and going and the busyness of our day, that it's very easy. You could leave something behind and then have a vehicle that potentially could be stolen. So that continued emphasis on taking the keys with you is like any other valuable with the vehicles that gets left sometimes. And then we don't have these reports very often, but I will tell you, as I see them in our daily tracking of the reports that we have come in, these are the ones that I ask our crime analysts to highlight for me so I can continue to emphasize. Certainly, there is a great responsibility that comes with the possession of a firearm. And again, if you decide that that is something that you want to do and to carry with you, that is absolutely right. What I would ask is that we continue to focus on, and we continue in our messaging on emphasizing, please secure that firearm, because the number of reports, again, are not high that we see over the course of a year, but any one is too many, where we see a firearm stolen from a vehicle because somebody has left it behind. They thought they had it hidden somewhere in the car, that nobody was going to find it, but the car was left open. And then all of a sudden we have a report of a missing firearm from a vehicle. And then an unknown location where that firearm is traveling to or being used for, again, other purposes than was intended for that owner. So just making sure that we're responsible with the transportation of our firearms and making sure we're not leaving them in the vehicle will help us, because any property that is stolen from a vehicle, we take seriously. We investigate fully. We look to hold accountable the people that are involved in those offenses and try to return that property to our community members. The firearm is a very particular type of property. When it's taken, really, the concern is then the safety of anyone, including the person who is in possession of that firearm. So we want to make sure we continue to emphasize that we secure those in our vehicles as we're traveling appropriately, but also then taking and removing them from the vehicles anytime we're leaving the car. So in 2021, just some highlights from our tracking of our offenses that are reported to us. We continue to see a low level of theft offenses in the community. Now, anytime we talk about the metrics, I always am careful to emphasize there is no amount of crime that is acceptable to us. We take it personally. We take it very seriously. Our goal ultimately is there to be no crime in Dublin, but we also know that there are occasions where things happen that we have to follow up on because an offense does occur. But we continue to see a low level of theft offenses. And numerically, in 2020, we saw 332 total reports over the calendar year of theft offense in that category. In 2021, there were 333, so one more report than we had the previous year. It continues to remain low, but again, I think it's important to emphasize the prevention, reduction, and deterrence, because that one report more is one more person who was victimized and had something happen that we certainly would hope to avoid and prevent in the future as well. But they continue to remain low. In 2021, we saw what we were surprised by, but very happy to see as a surprise, a record low number of burglary and B&E offenses. So a few years past, we saw that reduce to the very low 60, 61, and then last year, 60 total reports. Now, again, no amount of crime is acceptable, but that is a very low number for a community and a very low number in the history of our community. In 2021, we saw that number actually reduce to 41 total reports. So we saw a significant reduction. Now, I will tell you, in analyzing from our perspective, why do we think that happened? What were we involved in? Again, it's a fantastic partnership with the community in again, communicating those tenets of prevention and reduction and deterrence, making sure that the garage doors are down, because burglary is essentially sometimes what amounts to a theft from a vehicle. It happens to be that the vehicle is parked in the garage. So when the garage door is open and somebody comes in and trespasses and takes property from the vehicle, that qualifies as a burglary. So simple preventative measures making sure you're putting your garage door down or notifying your neighbor when you see it up after dark, to give them a call and tell them, hey, did you know your garage door was open? Sometimes is a simple preventative measure that keeps us from responding to later a report of a theft from a residence. But we saw what was a significant reduction last year. And I think that part of it is also an acknowledgement that there are a lot of people at home now too. So that we aren't away from our residences as we once were, because we may be working from home, or or family members who are home from school, or doing things remotely. Certainly provides us a better eye on the community and the comings and goings of our neighborhood than we have had maybe in the past. And we don't know exactly how long that will continue as we navigate through the pandemic and businesses and schools and jobs shift. But we were certainly grateful to see that reduction of those offenses in our community over the last year, and very happy about that. And certainly lastly to that, our continued focus from our officers, and again, making sure that they're aware of what is going on in the neighborhoods during their patrol and their response and their communication with community members. Again, want to give credit to our officers for continuing to stay focused on that activity and preventing that activity. The last category I wanted to talk about, we did see a slight uptick in theft from vehicle. So now, to give context to that, in 2020, we had 141 or 145 reports total over a calendar year. Again, a low number considering how big Dublin is, how much area we cover, and how much travel we have to our community every day, whether it be hotels or our businesses. But a low number in 2020. We saw that increase in 2021 to 162 total reports. So not about 17 more reports total over the calendar year. But I wanted to make sure I emphasize, we see that, and again, we sit with that information and wonder, where are they occurring? How are they occurring? What can we do from from our officer standpoint, and being in the right places at the right times, paying attention to those areas in a preventative way, but also what can we communicate more, or how can we communicate with emphasis in those areas to remind people, again, take your property with you so that we lessen the likelihood that you might be a victim of a theft offense or lose something from your vehicle once you're away from your vehicle. But just wanted to make sure I emphasize that. And if you can continue to share, and again, those particular focuses on take your keys with you, and then if you possess a firearm, make sure you're taking that from the vehicle. So I just wanted to share that information as it relates to our tracking of our effectiveness in reducing criminal occurrences throughout and the number of reports that we're taking. We are going to continue to work hard, and we thank you for the continued partnership and helping us keep the community safe. So if I will just emphasize, because I didn't put on here the goal on traffic safety, but I talked a little bit about improving traffic safety as one of our focuses. The number of crashes, so from 2019 to 2020, we saw what was the most significant reduction in traffic crash reports I have seen at the agency. We had about 300 less coming into 2021 as what we were tracking, what we normally experience. And that is largely attributable to there weren't many people on the roadway in 2020. So we weren't traveling the same way. And fortunately, one of the benefits of that was traffic safety improved because there wasn't as much volume and congestion and then accidents that we had reporting. We did see an increase, but it was not as significant as things continue to open up in sort of phases. And with the navigation of the pandemic over time, we saw just a little less than 60 more crashes over the calendar year in 2020. So 642 was what we took. Again, our focus and emphasis is really, again, paying attention to those areas where we see that happen most frequently, and working with our partners, again, in transportation and mobility, engineering, streets, and then from an enforcement perspective, focusing on those traffic violations that contribute and the behavior that contribute towards traffic crashes that sometimes can be serious in nature. So those, violations that are speed, reckless operation, operating a vehicle under the influence, those are our focuses and emphasis in helping identify areas where we can use enforcement to help change behavior. And then the other focus is, again, for neighborhood traffic complaints, our traffic unit is very responsive to making sure as you have fluctuation of new drivers in an area or changes within a neighborhood, making sure that everybody is on the same page about how to navigate through the neighborhood safely, so that we're making sure that speeds remain low, that operation remains safe in the neighborhood. So just wanted to touch on traffic safety as part of that before we moved on to the next slide. So certainly that goal 4, I mentioned that partnership with the community has always been very important for us, but we've opened some new arenas for us to continue to have conversation. And anytime I share an update on this, I want to make sure I give credit to our city manager and our city council members, including Councilmember Keeler, for, again, providing venue for us to continue to have really important conversations in our community about where we are currently and where we are going as a community, particularly focused on our conversations about diversity and equity and inclusion. And so the formation of the Chiefs Advisory Committee and the Community Task Force in 2020 were really intentional venues for us to continue to have conversations, to have open dialogue, and to consider what do we have as resources for all community members presently, and what can we build in partnership and connection that makes us, again, a more inclusive and inviting community in Dublin, and continue of our community and as a welcoming environment for anybody to bring their family, their business, or certainly to come and travel and visit here in Dublin. So enhancing our ability to effectively address issues of significant community concern has really focused intently on those conversations at the Chiefs Advisory Committee, and then the report that the task force delivered to council at the end of 2021. And so we are continuing to have those discussions regularly with the members of the Chiefs Advisory Committee to talk about important topics of safety in Dublin, to make sure that we understand at an intimate and granular level what community expectations are of their police department here in our community, and making sure that we are focused on adapting our practices so they are not just past practices of our profession, but the best practices of our profession. So we are constantly looking to push ourselves as an organization to examine how are we doing business, why do we do it that way, is it achieving what we intend to, and then are there ways for us to improve or to navigate towards a better way of more effectively and efficiently providing safety and protection in the community. And the Chiefs Advisory Committee is a group of community members and stakeholders who help reflect to us what perspectives are from the community so that we can consider how are we meeting public expectations. And so I am greatly appreciative for that 10-member committee for helping have those conversations with us, sitting with us on topics, including our body-worn camera policy, our response to resistance policy, our crowd control policy, officer-involved critical incidents, our school resource officer program. They're very intentional topics that we've put in front of us so we can have meaningful conversation. And sometimes we land exactly where we are. It's perfectly acceptable for us to examine all that we're doing and say, you know, we do it intentionally, we've done it for a long time, but we feel like it works, and this is exactly where we should be at this time. It is validation that what we are doing presently meets community expectation, but it's important for us to continue to have those conversations to make sure that is the case, so things don't become stagnant for us, so that we are making sure we are engaged in best practices. So we are in the process of selecting and identifying and selecting 3 new members for the Chiefs Advisory Committee. So interviews are happening presently. Actually, I have another one this afternoon with one of the members who is actually applying for both committees. And so the second committee that we have enacted as a community, again, giving credit to the city manager and the city council for moving forward with this initiative, as well as the Community Inclusion Advisory Committee, which is really the progression of the task force. And after they finish their one-year assignment and returning recommendations to council, this is the evolution now for those continued discussions at a community level on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and following up on that task force report. So the city manager and I are in the process of having those interviews for those members who are of our community who have applied either to the Community Inclusion Advisory Committee, the Chiefs Advisory Committee, or both. And we do have several applications for people who certainly we're grateful for their ambition and interest, and they want to be involved in both of those committees. What we're doing is sorting through where can people best help us, again, understand community perspective and help inform our city services as we move forward as a community. So I just wanted to share a little update and information there. And then the last slide, I just wanted to share just some reflection of a couple of events that we've had since the last time we've talked, certainly, but in the last several months, and then some things that are upcoming. So our Dublin Community Block Party was in October. We held it over in the Derby lot in October. It was a little windier than we anticipated, so I think that affected a little bit the attendance, but we were certainly very grateful for those who were able to make it out and spend some time with us again. Our goal really in connection to the community, and my goal for our community members, and especially since we've had such an, again, focused conversation about our police department, what we do and why we do it, the progression for me is to really explain what we do, why we do it, and then most importantly, who our members are as people behind the badge, and really, again, having that connective experience with community members that isn't tied to those events where someone calls us because they've experienced something where they had need for us to respond and investigate a theft, to respond and help them in a time of crisis, because those are sometimes events that are not as conducive to seeing or experiencing who that officer is as a person, in a way where if we schedule an intentional event for us to just talk with people, for us to just meet community members, you get a chance to see the wonderful people that I get a chance to work with each and every day. We really do have what I believe is the best department around, and I've been around this all of my life, but I'm so grateful for the members we have here and for their desire to serve this community. And so when we can schedule events for you to meet them in person, that certainly helps the comfort level you have in knowing who your police officers are, who your police department is, but it helps them also, again, feel the tremendous support we have from our community when you get to talk to people and spend some time with them at a planned event. So our Dublin Community Block Party was the first one we have had, and we intend to schedule some more. Again, as we navigate through the pandemic and can get together in person, my hope is that we'll be able to get to schedule more events, but also get out. And for those of you who have involvement in the HOA, for us to come and meet with residents in person at those meetings and bring an officer who is again assigned to that district, so you can put a face with a name, and so you have a comfort level when you pick up the phone, who is going to be responding, and have I met them before, and do I understand sort of what they have in totality as responsibilities for, again, protecting and serving specifically my neighborhood. So if you have a desire for us to come out, please reach out to us, and we would love to do that in the future. So a couple of other events after the block party, our Fill a Cruiser event, we were so blessed again to have community members come and drop off a truckload full of presents that we were able to work with through Get Behind the Badge to help deliver to community members here or then in the Central Ohio area, who would otherwise had a less fortunate Christmas than we were able to pass forward through our partnership with Get Behind the Badge and our Fill a Cruiser event. And then our Heroes and Helpers event, we had to sort of transition a little bit this year because of the pandemic, but we're able to hold at the rec center. And again, thankful to our event staff and the rec center for providing a venue for us to bring those families to a location where we could again do it safely and with comfort, but be able to extend again a little bit of generosity and from our community to families who to make their season a little brighter this past December. And then an upcoming event, again, we continue to focus on opportunities for us to address issues of significant community concern, and that continues through our drug take back program and providing an opportunity for us to collectively as a community get rid of those prescription medications that sometimes sit in our cabinets that we no longer need, that if left unattended could wind up in the hands of those that it wasn't intended for. So if you get a chance to bring out your old prescriptions, again, we'll have that event at February 26th later this month as one of the dates over the calendar year for us to again collect those and destroy drugs that are in excess in households. And so those are my updates. Again, I'll go on forever if they let me, for any of you that have had the chance to come to a meeting before, but I want to leave some space to answer any questions that you might have as well.
Thank you, Chief Paez. We're actually at our adjournment time. Could you stay with us for an extra couple of minutes? If people do have questions, they could
absolutely
hang out.
Could.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and adjourn, but if anybody has questions for Chief, please stick around. So our quote of the week comes from Robert Kennedy. Every society gets the kind of criminal it deserves. What is equally true is that every community gets the kind of law enforcement it insists on. Thank you, Chief, and to your entire staff for everything that you do for our community. Next week, we have Dr. Catherine Sullivan, former NASA astronaut, former COSI CEO and author. And we had 39, she's going to be bringing 39 signed copies of her book, Handprints on Hubble, that many of our members ordered through a donation to our foundation. So if you did order a book or books, please come to the meeting next week and retrieve your books. And with that, I'll adjourn. But if anybody wants to stick around with Chief for a few minutes, please do. We'll see many of you at the Polar Bear tomorrow morning.
Hey, Chief, I had a nice conversation with Bill Morris the other day about the peace poll, and we found out we're both boxer dog owners.
Yeah, rescue. Yeah.
Rescues. So we chatted because I said, well, if you ever see a man and a woman and a boxer dog walking by the police department, it's us. So stop and say hi. And he said, I have a boxer dog. He seems like a great guy.
Boxers for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. We went through all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he said Amber McCloskey was going to be our direct liaison on the peace poll.
That's what he told me. I know there's a bit to navigate, certainly still with the requirements in the city, but certainly I'm glad you reached out, and we're happy to be partners along that process. So that sounds like a wonderful opportunity for sure.
Thanks. That's great. We're really glad that you stepped up, and it'll be fun.
Yes, thank you.
And hopefully meaningful. I mean,
I agree.
The purpose.
Yeah. Chief, it's great to have you with us. And it's great to see you again, although virtually. But every time you and I've had a chance to chat, you always engage me with how all 5 kids are doing. So please give us an update on the family. Are they enjoying these snow days as much as my grandkids are?
This morning, our son is a senior at Scioto. He wasn't enjoying it as much because we were shoveling to get out the driveway this morning. But I am certain he will relish the rest of the day at home. So our oldest is a junior at Bowling Green's, education major, and just found out her assignment. She'll be student teaching at Central Catholic High School up in Toledo, which was, certainly a place we were familiar with while we were there, because we're from Toledo originally, my wife and I. And so she's doing well, and very proud of her. Our second oldest is over in Dayton, is an engineering major and moving their way through that program, which is fantastic. Justice is a senior at Scioto High School, and then our twins are sophomores. And so before I can blink, I'm certain it's going to turn around and they're going to all have moved through. So I am holding on tight to every moment I have left with them here in Dublin, and just certainly so proud of all of them. And my wife is equally busy. She is a NICU nurse manager at Riverside Hospital. People ask, how's the pandemic been and your job? If anything, for my wife and I, it's just gotten more interesting. So just all of the navigations and complications of leading organizations have been a trial by fire at times, but also a rewarding experience when you get to work through problems for the people that you work with and for the groups that you serve. And so it's been a wonderful journey, and they continue. My family continues to be an absolute joy for me to talk about. So thanks for asking, Paige. I really appreciate it.
No, it's great to have you. Thanks for your comments.
Thank you. Any other questions? I want to make sure I provided some opportunity. I know I certainly prefer in person, but I love the opportunity to answer if you have any.
Chief, I just want to thank you too. We've had, fortunately, very few opportunities to interact with the Dublin police, but whenever we do, it's been a very professional experience and really a model for how policing should be done in communities. So really appreciate that, and great job.
Thank you, Wolf. I appreciate it.
Chief, I was wondering the 2 new alcohol districts, how has that been going, and you see that continuing?
Yeah, they do intend to continue. I think there was recently some discussion at council about expanding The hours, frankly, from our perspective, we've had very few issues at all. And even hard to discern because of the area that they are, whether any of the responses we have had in having officers there focused specifically on the DORA hours, if any of that, even the response and incidents we have addressed are attributable to the DORA itself. I mean, it's such a busy area. There's nothing that we have seen that it leads us to believe this was as a result of us changing or adding this event, which is really great to see, and frankly was part of what we expected based on our research before we moved forward on the DORA from other communities that had similar environments, that we just didn't see problems once they opened, which was great to know going into it, and certainly what we've experienced so far. We started with a very heavy presence for our officers, just so the people had a comfort level, because there was some sense of anxiety for the people who live in that area or the businesses on what that was going to look like, and then scaled that back because having a few officers available is certainly prudent, but we didn't need as many as we thought initially. But we continue to stay focused and making sure that we were paying attention as that evolves as well, that we don't miss anything. So, but thank you for asking the question, for sure. Well, if there are no other questions, thank you so much for spending some time this morning. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Certainly be safe if you decide to travel this afternoon, and I look forward to talking to you all again soon.
Thank you so much,
Question,
Chief.
Chief. Just quick question. Any idea when the level 3 and level 2 snow emergencies might be lifted?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I suppose the easy answer is when the snow melts, but I don't don't know for the other counties. I haven't heard yet, but I wish I could tell you. But fortunately, it sounds like the snow is going to stop here soon, and then hopefully we'll have a chance to clean everything up and get the roadways back open.
I'm asking for our Polar Bear Open committee. So.
Oh, is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, if and when it opens, certainly be safe getting there, regardless of what the level is. But yeah, hopefully here soon, things will start to clean up. So
great. Thanks a lot, Chief.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Chief.